The Unreleased Secrets of Vanilla WoW Episode 3. I love this intro, it's good. Alright, let's see. Episode 3. Mage Trainer. Oh! Love it.
Hey guys, what's up? Mad Season here,
Yo.
back with another video for you. Throughout World of Warcraft's initial 5-year development, there were many features that were either implemented and removed, or they just never got past the planning phase. We've done a couple of videos covering some of these unreleased secrets, and for episode 3, we're going to explore the long-lost Alpha 0.5.3 client.
Okay.
This was the first publicly playable version of the game.
Oh
and
my
a little
gosh.
fun fact of the history is that this was the version that was leaked out during the internal alpha testing. A person by the name of Skull socially engineered either a tester or an employee of Blizzard themselves, and they leaked it to the internet.
Yeah.
Where people began reverse engineering it and then making server software, which marked the birth of the private server community.
Dude, imagine leaking an actual, like, early alpha for, like, one of the biggest games to come out, man. That's gonna take some balls to do, man. Like, an unreleased alpha for, like, the upcoming MMORPG World of Warcraft, TM.
Something that wouldn't be possible without mad coding skills.
Oh!
Like with what you can learn from boot.dev.
Whoa!
Boot.dev is a platform for anyone looking to master back-end development.
Holy!
And unlike my voice, it's built to make sure that you never get bored by taking cues from game design to keep you engaged and pushing towards a career in back-end development. You'll find courses here that teach you back-end web development using Python and Go.
Cool.
Right from the basics to the more advanced concepts. The lessons are designed such that you're not
This is actually
just
kinda cool.
passively learning. You're actually coding, which is the best way to learn. And
I feel like, okay, I know I'm pausing in the middle of a sponsor of a video we're watching. Okay, first of all, I like watching the sponsors in these videos because we kind of watch the videos so we can at least support that. But I think, like, honestly, man, treating a lot of stuff in life like questing and like MMOs can make you like acquire many stuff in life. I think that's why a lot of WoW gamers are into the gym. Right, because the gym is somewhat like an eternal like achievement grind, right? Like you reach like little plateaus and like new levels. It's genuinely like a way of like grinding something IRL, and I think that's why a lot of like WoW Andies like to do gym stuff. Duolingo does that. Yeah, Duolingo also has like a same thing with it. It's literally a grind.
Their mission is to make learning to code as engaging as possible.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm working with them is that their platform makes you feel like you're playing an RPG.
Exactly.
Which I'm sure will resonate with a lot of you, considering that you're most likely addicted to World of Warcraft. It has levels to complete and achievements to unlock. And because it's self-paced, you can learn at your own speed. And if you hit a snag, don't worry. They have an AI to help.
Charlie, thank you for the 10 months Prime.
But rather asking guided questions to help you understand concepts. They offer a 30-day, no questions asked refund policy.
Not bad.
And a free demo for every course. So if it interests you, you can try it risk-free and see if it's the right fit for you.
Okay, cool.
Click the link in the description and use my code to get 25% off your first payment.
All right.
Which is 25% off either your first month
Back to
or
WoW.
your first
Let's
year,
go.
depending on which plan you choose. Anyways,
Dwarf
to start
mages.
off here, interestingly enough, cut content can be found from official Blizzard literature. For those of you
Wait,
who
I did not know. Really?
have the original game manuals,
That's
if you
wrong.
flip to the classes page, you'll find a race class combination that never made it to vanilla, which is
What? I had no idea about this
the
actually.
Dwarven Mage. This was said to be cut not for lore reasons necessarily, but rather because the developers felt like the Alliance had more freedom with race and class combinations.
It's
so
weird.
In classic Blizzard fashion, instead of increasing the combinations for Horde, they piss off everybody by removing this particular one for the Alliance.
I didn't even know that.
But this wouldn't be the only interesting thing in the manual. If you were to look at the
Dude, that is such an abomination.
races section, you would also find the original troll models.
That's the worst
These have
posture I've
become
ever
rather
seen.
infamous over the years for their ugliness, for
Oh
lack of
my
a better
God.
term. They were changed to be a little bit more appealing to the eye because all of the beautiful people were on the Alliance, not just in real life, but in game as well.
What?
And this would be something that would be
come
taken a
on.
step further in the Burning Crusade expansion when, controversially, the Blood Elves were added, which was a pretty big deal back then because they didn't really mesh with the aesthetic that the Horde had.
Blood Elves are cool though.
I can't believe that they gave us fucking Blood Elves. They're not evil.
Corpse grinder.
You ever gone to fucking Blood Elf City Silvermoon? All these fucking pretty colors and shit.
And this wasn't the only model change. A keen eye can notice very slight differences in posture and even animations with pretty much every race and sex in this alpha. Apparently Blizzard...
Wait, that's actually kind of cool. Wait, what? I like that casting.
Pretty much every race and sex in this alpha.
Dude, that looks kind of edgy. Look at that.
Apparently Blizzard felt that they were a little too roughshod, and they gave model and animation updates
Anime
across the
style,
board
yeah, I guess.
sometime during the beta. Next, we have an actual feature, and that's
this was
the
crazy.
original talent system. In vanilla, as you know, all classes eventually landed on the talent tree system, where each level you gain attributes and a talent point to spend in 3 different trees that drastically change the gameplay of your character. Before that, though, they were much more classic D&D RPG-like, where attributes weren't automatically granted upon level, but instead were chosen.
Imagine the weird-ass characters you could have, though, with this. If you could actually choose each point as you leveled up, you would have, you know, like those Elden Ring videos? So I did the Elden Ring DLC only leveling strength. Bro, unironically, man, that would make for a lot of very, very strange like builds and like metas and stuff like that. They should add that with the next SOD. In a way, it's kind of cool, but maybe it would be way too heavily like what is it called? Unbalanced. This would have been a lot more RPG, and I like that. The idea behind this is insanely cool, I think. Like you get some talent points each level, and you could level up some whatever you want, right? Is there no cap? Is there no stat cap in Classic? Stats work really strangely in Classic Dildozer. There's no like actual cap to how much stats you can have, but the lower level you are, the more like each stat kind of like weighs with you. So like agility gives you way more crit and way more dodge than it was supposed to give you later. So maybe if you cranked up a bunch of agility early on, you would have some insane stats for crit and dodge and stuff, right? Oh, if there's soft caps, no, I don't believe so.
Instead were chosen. Each level you would gain talent points, and you could spend them on a variety.
Sorry, a little bit of a rant, but this is cool though. I actually think this could have made for very interesting gameplay.
Things such as attributes, defensive talents such as dodge, regeneration, shield blocking, armor, magic resists, or offensive talents would be increased damage versus certain enemy types like beasts or humanoids.
Dude.
Or, interestingly enough, even the ability to track them, which was, of course...
Wait, hold on. Let me go over here so you guys can actually see while he's going over this. Wait, this is actually sick. Increases all damage done to dragons with either spells or physical attacks by 4. Wait, so you could do like a full, like an actual Demon Slayer build. So you would be horrible at everything in the game, but as soon as there's a dragon or a demon, you are like him. You know?
Or humanoids, or interestingly enough, even the ability to track them, which was, of course, eventually given to hunters. You could specialize in different weapon types and...
Increases your chance to parry with a 200 mace by 2%, 20 talent points. Mace finesse.
Increase their attack rating.
What?
Like one-handed and two-handed maces, swords, axes, depending on your class. The system was eventually scrapped based on the premise that it offered the illusion of choice, and everybody just picked the best talents, so it didn't really have any reason to exist. And this would be true to some extent with the reworked system, but on the flip side, there were a few different builds for each class. That's crazy, though. Pretty varied playstyles, such as the subtlety PvP rogue versus combat PvE, or the tanky demonology warlock versus the glass cannon destruction. People
will always go for the metas, but I think in a lot of stuff, like for RPGs, the fun part is making your own builds, right? I think that's why Dark Souls and those games have so much success, because the build variety is so big, right? I love this. I think the concept of that early talent stuff is actually incredibly cool.
To name just a couple of examples. In vanilla, you probably know about weapon skills.
Yes.
You get a new weapon, train it, and flail wildly at enemies, missing 90% of your attacks because your weapon skill is too low.
Yeah.
Well, originally, magic functioned similarly, where each time you used a spell, the appropriate magic school would increase in skill level.
What?
So, cast a fireball, gain skill in fire, you throw out a heal, gain
No
skill in holy
way.
magic, and so on. In the release, this skill is still in the game, but it was changed to just level up automatically every time that the players level up.
I actually had no... Dude, this video is a banger. I had, like, this is, like, new stuff. Massive View, thank you for the 10 months. I didn't know about this.
Going back to cut content, we have the Undermine. Early pre-release maps reveal that it was intended for vanilla in 2004. Undermine is a sprawling subterranean city nestled beneath the island of Kazan in the southern Sea of Azeroth.
Oh,
near
shit.
the Maelstrom, and it's basically the home of the goblins who
Gobbos.
remained neutral throughout the game until the Cataclysm, where they joined the Filthy Horde. It's renowned for its elusive goblin trade princes who command private armies and expansive trade fleets, and turning it into a frenetic center of commerce and intrigue. In previous episodes, we discussed these unreleased areas and items under the context of possible Classic Plus content. You can't really get closer to the spirit of vanilla than areas that were actually planned in vanilla.
That's true.
And
Agreed.
although this never made it past this concept stage, it was seriously considered at one point, and it could have some potential in this undefinable Classic Plus that people talk about. It could be maybe a raid tier or something.
This could be
In
cool.
the previous episode, we briefly mentioned
we know this one.
Alpha Ironforge, and I figured
At
it
least
was
most
big
people
enough
do.
to warrant a full tour here. So the first thing you'll notice is that King Magni's statue is missing, and entering the city, that main square that held the bank and auction house is also gone completely.
Oh.
There are now 2 rings, an inner and an outer.
I actually didn't know that it was that changed with that as well. I thought it was still like the same kind of things.
2 floors across the outer ring with the important buildings that you know, such as the military wing or the mystic wing and so on, being on
I think it's good they didn't make it this big though, because it would just have the same feel that Undercity does. The layout of Undercity is cool, but it's just blah blah. You know, it's just way too like convoluted and annoying running around in Undercity.
2nd floor. As for the Hall of Explorers, it looks pretty similar, with one exception being the flight path nearby. As for the inner ring, some other important areas can be found, such as the Forlorn Cavern, where rogues found their trainers. You can also find the bank here, complete with guards falling out of the sky. And also Old Ironforge, as it's known, which we showed off in a previous episode since it was tucked away in the throne room in the new version. In this version, this was the actual throne room where King Magni resided, brooding that they haven't finished his statue yet. The Deep Run tram can also be found in this inner ring. You get there by way of an elevator.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I actually haven't seen all of this like that. I do know about Old Ironforge, but I didn't know it was like, the layout was like this.
And it looks very different.
What the hell?
Recognize the architecture
Looks like
from
Nomer.
Nomeragon. And holy shit.
Play with us, Daddy, forever and ever and
Oh my god. Why do they look like that?
That's scary. The trams were never implemented before the remodel, but there are 2 different directions where it splits off to.
Wait, I kind of like the look of this tram though. Wait.
Where it splits off to.
I like
It's theorized that this would take you not only to Stormwind, but also Darnassus. Obviously, in the final version, we only got Stormwind, which, if you're curious on the other side of things, what would eventually be the Deep Run tram entrance is just a brick wall. So the reason why all of this was changed was that players kept getting lost, which isn't surprising considering that the map wasn't even available in this version of the game. But anyways, for the next one, going back to Stormwind, you'll notice that one of the attractions in the previous episode, that scrapped housing district, is...
Yeah, it does look more majestic. I do agree. Like, the old Ironforge, I don't know why, it just has more of like a grand feel.
Also missing, and that's because at this point, players were actually able to place houses themselves.
Isn't it they used the Warcraft 3 like model builder or model viewer or whatever the heck to do this? It is so funny. I don't get the hype with housing, to be honest. I don't know, man. I think in an MMO, the idea behind housing is a lot cooler than actual housing, but maybe I'm like in the minority with that, but I'm not sure. It's just RP. It's a very heavy RP, yeah. I think Final Fantasy does housing pretty well, though.
So this was a very short-lived feature, but yes, Blizzard did at one point give players the ability to find a spot in Azeroth to plop down a house. This went through a few iterations, actually. There was another...
Dude, this would be like... You guys remember New World launch with all those campfires everywhere? It would be like that, but with houses in vanilla WoW. So you would run around the Durotor in the Valley of Trials, and you would just see houses everywhere. It would just be so bad.
And mass set aside mainly for testing that actually existed in the world, as placing them anywhere in Azeroth, you would run into obvious issues such as block.
Yeah, I mean, they probably would be instanced, yeah, I know, but the idea behind that is funny. I feel like people were really wanting housing and expansions at ago, but I don't really feel people saying much about it these days. I don't know, for me, housing is... I don't really care too much about housing. I think it's okay, it's cool enough, but if I wanted to play a game with like housing, I would like survival games. So that's the vibe, man. You know, that's where you really want to care about that kind of stuff. I feel like building a house, you know, resources, all that stuff. It's more like a survival kind of game to me. Imagine all the gray items like weapons, statues, effigies you could store in your house as decoration. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get the idea behind why people like it, though. I will admit, though, I was actually kind of hyped for garrisons in VOD. I kind of was, you know? I'm gonna be real. It was pretty hype. But then, you know, it actually came out, and then, yeah.
Kicking off critical questing areas, to name just one. This eventually fell through because the real estate was just too scarce, and they were already struggling fitting the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor into their own instances. In fact, one of the reasons, besides time, that the Outland was pushed back into its own expansion was because they simply didn't have room for it.
Yep.
So after all of this, eventually, as said, they had plans to make their own housing instance in Stormwind, probably somewhere else in Orgrimmar for the Horde, but that didn't pan out, and it would stay that way until Draenor, which had the infamous garrison system, which had its own host of issues that we'll save for another time.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll do another episode about that expansion entirely at some point.
Oh god.
And next, we have an oldie but a goodie.
Dude! Don't even get me started on Duskwood, chat, man. Duskwood was supposed to be an actual horror experience, man. We're gonna... Dude, like, man, I don't know, man. The idea behind, like, a horror Duskwood vibe with, like, you know, the darkness and the torches... Holy crap. Well, he's probably gonna get into it, but dude.
And
I like horror games. You guys know this. I enjoy horror games a lot, so I'm a big fan.
It's the survivalist profession. So this was a scrapped profession removed in the beta of the game, intended to aid players in traversing the world of Azeroth. As it turned out, the ability to make campfires was given to cooks, but this was originally a survival skill, along with the ability to light torches. You see, at some point, the dark areas in Azeroth were really dark.
Dude, dude, imagine running around like this, and then you can hear stitches, like, and then you just, you get aggro, man. Holy shit, that would be scary, man. Oh my god.
And they record the use of torches to be able to see where you were going, as well as giving you spirit. The way it worked was that you bought the torches from vendors, and then you lit them at campfires, and they would only last for a short amount of time.
A rogue paradise.
It's sort of like that crypt area in Dark Souls where you needed to use that skull lantern, for those of you who played that game. The campfires functioned pretty similarly, providing a spirit buff to those who sit near it, as well as allowing players to cook food, which made it for a good pair for cooking back when it was a primary profession.
Yeah. So Blizzard seems like they were going way more for the RPG part in the early stages. In a way, I do think it was probably good that they didn't go for the full-on RPG style, because it turned out to be a really great game. But some of these features are actually really cool, though. Like the talent stuff with, like, you know, you can pick your own, like, strength, agility, whatever you would want to pick, like all that stuff is actually really cool, genuinely.
This too has a lot of potential for Classic Plus. It's
I don't know if it was, you know,
on private servers such as Turtle WoW. It would be a pretty interesting hardcore touch, I think, to have areas or maybe even dungeons and raids where they're pitch black and they require torches to navigate certain areas. Maybe a boss fight that requires torches in order to fight them. But yeah, anyways, that about wraps up this episode.
Video. This was awesome.
Before signing off here, in case you missed it, I recently relaunched the Lil Mads plush, if you missed that from last year. The campaign is running for a couple more weeks for those of you who want to recruit this limited time DPS warrior to your party. He does not tank, just so you know. He never did the quest for the defensive stance, so don't even ask. But he does some pretty good damage. But yeah, anyways, like the video if you liked it, because I'll see you in the next one.
Cool! This was a really good video. I actually really enjoyed watching this. This was a great video. I really, really enjoyed watching this, actually, guys. Wow. This was super, super, super sick.